Okay, think about this. What if you could set up an income stream that just runs?
Yeah.
No boss, no office, maybe not even you doing the actual heavy lifting like writing.
Right. Earning while you're busy, sleeping, whatever.
Exactly. It sounds a bit out there, maybe.
Yeah.
But that's exactly what Richard Abbott claims is possible in his book, How to Successfully Self-Publish a Book on Amazon and Audible. And that's what we're digging into today.
Yeah, and it's less about wishful thinking and more about a system he lays out for self-publishing, but maybe not in the way most people picture it.
Right, not the lonely writer stereotypes.
Yeah.
So if you're listening and thinking, hey, I want some financial freedom, or maybe you've got an idea brewing, or you just need a side hustle that, actually works.
Then this should be really interesting for you.
Because let's face it, the idea of publishing a book can feel huge, like confusing, expensive. Maybe you think, I'm not a writer or I'm terrible with tech.
And those are totally valid feelings. A lot of people get stopped right there. But Abbott's argument is, well, it's often not about talent. It's about the approach, the strategy.
Okay, so let's unpack that. He talks about a system using outsourcing and the tools already available for self-publishing. Our mission here is to pull out those key ideas. How you shift from being just a writer to thinking like a publisher, building a real system.
And that mindset shift is honestly the core of it. Abbott really pushes you to move past that sort of romantic idea of waiting for the muse and instead adopt this proactive publisher mindset.
So what does that actually look like? How is being a publisher different from, say, the struggling creative trying to get every word perfect?
Well, the traditional view might be someone agonizing over sentences,
Right.
revising endlessly, waiting for perfection.
Yeah, I can picture that.
The publisher mindset Abbott describes is more about building things, testing ideas, releasing them, learning from what happens, and then growing, seeing books as, well, as products, as assets, tools even.
Not just precious art projects, but things designed to meet a need.
Exactly. It's a much more dynamic, market-aware approach. Less waiting, more doing and iterating.
Okay, that makes sense. And where does this practical, publisher-minded approach actually start? What's step one in Abbott's system?
Research. Solid market research. Before anything else.
Right, not just guessing what people might want.
Definitely not guessing. He insists you find out what people are already buying and talking about on Amazon. That's the key.
Okay, so we're talking detective work, not just browsing. What kind of research are we doing?
You're diving into bestseller lists and your potential niche, sure. But critically, looking at reviews is huge.
The good and the bad.
Especially the bad sometimes. What are people complaining about? What's missing? Are they saying, I wish this book had more on X, or this didn't cover Y?
Ah, so you're looking for the gaps.
Precisely. Unsolved problems, unanswered questions. That's where the opportunity lies. Abbott calls it the sweet spot. Finding something people clearly want, high demand.
But where the existing books maybe aren't quite cutting it. Low competition, or at least weaker competition.
That's it. That's your starting point.
Okay, research done. You've found a promising niche. Now, here's where it might get surprising for some folks. Abbott says you don't necessarily have to write the book yourself.
Correct. And this is really fundamental to his idea of efficiency. He talks about ghostwriters.
People you hire to write it for you.
Yeah, talented writers who can take your research, your outline, even just your core concept, and turn it into a professional manuscript.
Interesting. And what about PLR? He mentions that too.
Right. PLR, private label rights content. This is basically pre-written material you can buy the rights to.
So you buy it and then...
You can legally edit it, rebrand it, put your name on it, and publish it. Abbott sees it as a potential shortcut. You get the raw material quickly and focus on shaping it for your specific audience based on your research.
Okay, so it's less about being the author in the traditional sense and more about being the producer.
Exactly. He uses a great analogy like a restaurant owner hiring chefs. You're the publisher orchestrating the creation of the product, whether using a ghostwriter or PLR. It's a business strategy.
That definitely reframes things. So, okay, the manuscript exists one way or another. What's the next absolutely crucial piece, according to Abbott?
The cover.
Right.
Without a doubt. It's your book's billboard online.
First impression.
The only impression for many people scrolling through Amazon. He's really emphatic. People do judge books by their covers online.
So my quick attempt in, Microsoft Paint isn't going to work.
Probably not recommended, no. He really pushes for using a professional designer, someone who understands your genre, what visual cues work, what actually sells books in that space.
And it's not just hiring someone, right? You need to guide them.
Absolutely. Writing a good design brief is key. You need to tell them about the book's core message, the target audience, maybe give examples of covers you like in the genre. Knowing what to say and what not to say is important.
The goal being?
A cover that looks totally professional, something that fits right in with traditionally published books, even if it's your first time out. Credibility.
Okay. Content.check. Cover.check. Now, actually getting it out there. Onto Amazon. That's KDP, right?
Exactly. Kindle Direct Publishing. That's Amazon's platform. It's the gateway for getting your ebook and your paperback version listed for sale worldwide.
And Abbott walks you through that process.
Yeah. Uploading the files manuscript, getting the formatting right, and crucially, writing that book description, the blurb that shows up on the Amazon page. That needs to be compelling.
Needs to hook people in.
Definitely. And it's not just about the upload itself. There's strategy involved in just being seen.
Discoverability. How do people find your book among the millions?
Keywords and categories. Big time. Abbott stresses how vital it is to choose the right ones within KDP. These are the search terms people actually type into Amazon.
So getting those right means the right readers find you.
Precisely. It helps you target your audience. And he also covers pricing strategy, finding that sweet spot between profit and appeal. It's all about making sure your book doesn't just vanish.
Making it discoverable. Okay, so that covers ebooks and paperbacks. But audiobooks are huge now. Abbott talks about those too.
Oh, absolutely. He sees it as a massive opportunity. The audiobook market is booming, and Audible is, the giant in that space. It's another income stream from the same core content.
And again, like the writing, you don't need to be the one reading it, right? You don't have to have a perfect radio voice.
Not at all. That's where ACX comes in Audiobook Creation Exchange. It's Audible's platform connecting authors, or rather publishers, with narrators.
Okay, how does that work? Do you have to pay narrators a lot up front?
You can, but Abbott really highlights the royalty share option. The narrator produces the audiobook, often at no upfront cost to you, and then you split the royalties from sales.
Wow, okay. That lowers the barrier significantly.
Hugely. It makes audiobooks accessible even if you're just starting out. It's a partnership.
So what's the key to making that work well? Finding a good narrator, setting it up.
Abbott gives practical advice on writing a good project description to attract the right talent, how to listen to auditions effectively, how to manage the production process professionally with the narrator.
Things to avoid.
Yeah, common pitfalls that can slow things down or lead to a result you're not happy with. He also mentions alternatives, like finding narrators on platforms like Fiverr or Upwork, giving you more options.
Right. So one book idea could become an ebook, a paperback, and an audiobook. Multiple revenue streams. What else? How do you scale this?
Bundling is a big one he discusses.
Meaning?
Taking several related books, maybe shorter guides or different formats, and packaging them together as a single offer. An ebook box set, a paperback collection, that kind of thing.
Why do that?
Well, perceived value mainly. The bundle often looks like a much better deal to the customer than buying individually, so you might sell more, potentially at a higher overall price point, more royalties.
And Yvonne likes bundles sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes they get better visibility or promotion. It's just a smart way to offer more and potentially earn more from the content you already have.
Okay, makes sense. So you've got the products, single books, bundles, different formats. Now the big question, getting people to actually buy them. Marketing.
Yes, and Abbott tackles Amazon ads specifically. He tries to demystify it.
Because they can seem intimidating, right?
They can, but he breaks it down. Choosing the right keywords to target again with the keywords, writing ad copy that makes people click, setting sensible budget so you don't overspend, and really importantly, tracking performance.
Seeing what works and what doesn't.
Exactly. Tweaking, optimizing, it's an ongoing process, not set and forget.
Is it only about Amazon ads?
No, he mentions other avenues too. Platforms like BookBub, for instance, they have huge email lists of readers. Getting a promotion with them can be a massive boost.
Reaching readers outside of Amazon directly.
Right. And he touches on social media, but strategically. Not just random posts, but using it to build buzz for a launch, encourage reviews, and really connect with readers, turn them into fans.
Fans who might buy the next book.
That's the idea. Building a loyal audience over time.
So we've gone from mindset, research, creation, packaging, platforms, marketing. What's the bigger picture here? The long-term view Abbott presents.
It's about shifting from just getting that first book out to actually building a a sustainable business.
Okay.
That means maybe publishing more books, testing different niches based on what you learn, maybe working with multiple ghostwriters or narrators to increase output.
Scaling up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
scaling, maybe even hiring virtual assistants to handle some of the admin. It's that transition from doing everything yourself to building a machine, a brand, real business ownership.
And he mentioned something specific, doesn't he? That
Yeah.
moment of the very first sale. Why is that so significant?
Because it's often unexpected. You log in and boom, someone you don't know somewhere else in the world bought your book while you were doing something else entirely.
The passive income dream becomes real.
Exactly. It clicks. It's proof of concept. Abbott says that moment is often incredibly powerful. Less about the few dollars, maybe, and more about the realization, wow, I created something people will pay for, and it happened without me actively selling it right then.
It's a validation. Builds confidence.
Totally. It's an internal shift. That feeling of capability, of independence, it fuels you to keep going.
And that first sale, as cool as it is, it's not the end game, is it?
No, not at all. It's the beginning. Abbott frames it as the start of a repeatable process.
You use what you learned.
To do it again and again, build a library of books, a catalog of assets, create a legacy even. It's about the system, not luck. That first sale proves the system can work.
So it encourages you to keep building, refining that system, stepping into that role of publisher and business owner.
Exactly. Creating the life, the opportunities you actually want.
Okay, so let's try and boil this down. If we were to summarize the absolute core of Richard Abbott's message in how to successfully self-publish a book on Amazon and Audible, what would be?
I think it's that building this kind of passive income through self-publishing is genuinely achievable. You don't need to be a born writer or a tech genius. He provides a clear system, a roadmap.
Right.
It emphasizes thinking like a publisher market research, outsourcing strategically, professional presentation, smart marketing, and aiming for long-term growth. It shifts the focus from just writing to publishing as a business.
And crucially, it seems accessible. You don't need a giant following or tons of cash to start. It's more about the willingness to, well, start, to follow the steps.
That's it, the willingness to begin and to adopt that publisher mindset.
Which leads to a final thought for you listening. What kind of digital asset, what kind of book or guide could you put out into the world, even if you didn't write every word yourself? What might that look like?
And more importantly, perhaps, what kind of freedom could that creation potentially unlock for you? Maybe it's time to consider taking that first step, using a blueprint like Abbott's,